Today is Thursday, January 22nd, 2015, and Joe Turner and myself, Judy Meyer, are talking to Bob BenBen. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Right.
Can you spell it for us?
It's B-E-N-B-E-N, two Bens.
Two Bens. And your first name is?
Bob.
Bob.
Yep.
Is it really Robert?
Yeah, it's Robert. Right.
Well, I know a little bit about you, but not really that much. So I'm going to ask you if you'll take us from the beginning and tell us where you started off in life and maybe when.
I was originally born and raised in Chicago. My dad worked for the FAA, well, the CAA, which is now the FAA, in Chicago, and he was transferred to St. Louis when Ozark became into being, and he was transferred here because of that, because of the airline. And his job was he'd inspect airplane crashes, evaluate pilots, things of that nature. And because of that, we moved in Woodson Terrace, which is close to the airport.
How old were you when you moved in?
I was like 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 15, 16.
So for the most part, you were raised in Chicago.
Right, yes.
What year were you born? Would you mind telling
I was
us?
born 1941.
Okay. Right when World War II started.
Yeah. And so we moved here, and it was a big adjustment. You know, switch high schools at that age. You know.
Did you go to public school in Chicago?
No, I went to school, St. Rita High School, and we moved here to Woodson Terrace, and we went up, we really went up to Rittner, and nobody was there, so we went to the next closest school, which was Mercy on Pennsylvania and Olive. So, and I got there and enrolled for my final 2 years at Mercy High School.
What do you mean no one was there?
I was there to, the month of July is, it's not like that now, but the month of July, at that time everybody took off.
Oh.
I mean, all administrators were off, the only people around were custodians.
I see.
Which now that's not quite true, the way the schools are run now. Usually there's summer school going on.
Right.
There. So we went down, and the sister Barbara was having to be in her office. She was the principal, and went in there and registered.
Did you have any brothers?
I have a brother, Rick, and I'm 10 years older than my brother.
So he wasn't in high school then, was he?
No. And we were in St. Williams Parish, so he went to St. Williams for grade school, and then enrolled at CBC High School. We went to CBC.
So you actually graduated from CBC?
Me? No, from Mercy.
From Mercy.
Yeah, my brother graduated from CBC.
Okay, thank you.
So we were living in Woodson Terrace, and my mom and dad purchased a home, a new home. We were living on Guthrie Avenue in Woodson Terrace, and moved to Tipton Drive in Woodson Terrace. And lived there basically till I got married. Moved in an apartment in St. John's, and then when I got the job at Pattonville, I moved out to Bristol Hall Drive in Bridgeton.
Well, take us back a few minutes, a few years here. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Washington University, graduated from Washington U in January 1964.
Were you in the School of Education?
Yeah. They really don't have as much in the education field now as they did when I was going there.
Right.
And that's why I got my degree, my undergraduate degree at WashU, and then I got my graduate I got a job when I got out at Augustine Academy High School. So it was a school for boys and college prep school. And I worked there for 4.5 years.
Doing what?
taught PE, health, and coached. And then during that time I got my master's degree
In what?
in secondary administration.
So you really were kind of aiming for administration?
Well, no, not really. I just, I love to coach. I think I got in it mostly because of coach. I coached football, basketball, and baseball. And got in it really for that. And I never really, I did get my master's in education, secondary education, but I never thought I'd use it. But then over time, I ended up to use my degree in administration at Pattonville.
No, who did you marry? Tell us about this person.
Married Nancy. Her name was Nancy Schaller. She lived in St. John's, went to Presentation, went to Mercy, went to high school. Well, I really didn't go to, I guess she was a freshman when I was a senior. I started dating her after I graduated, and she was a sophomore, end of her sophomore year when I was graduating. And we ended up going together for 5 years and ended up marrying her.
Did she go to college as well?
No, she did not. She had a job at Ozark Airlines and worked there, and then her family, her dad had a family business shoe store in Woodson Terrace, and she kind of ran that. He passed away, and she ran that with her mom, and that was. And then from there, she got a job with Bill Murphy Sporting Goods. He worked for Bill for 20 plus years until she retired.
And did you have children?
Yeah, we had 3 boys, Bobby, Todd, and Brian. Bobby's the oldest.
How old is he?
Bobby's, I think, I'm guessing here, I think he's 48. Todd is 46 and Brian's 44. I think they're about ready to turn another year.
Okay.
And
Where did they go to school?
they went to Pattonville.
While you were
Pattonville.
teaching?
Well, yeah. In 1967, when I was at Augustinian Academy, I had a course, I was working on my master's, and I had a course with Bill Houston, happened to be in the same class that I was. Bill Houston, I played football for him and baseball at Mercy, and at that time he was the athletic director at Pattonville High School. And he told me they were having a basketball, they were going to have an opening in the basketball, varsity basketball, and if I would be interested in applying. So I applied for the job and got it, and I spent 32 years there.
32 years at Pattonville
Yeah.
High School.
Right.
And the whole time you were at Pattonville, was it on Creve Coeur Mill Road?
No, it was on, and when I got the job for the 67, 68 school year, it was at what they call now the Learning Center, right across from the old Northwest Plaza. And we were in that building until 71, 72, we moved over to the high school on Creve Coeur Mill Road. And
How big were the classes when you were first starting? Do you remember?
yeah, when I came to Pattonville, 67, 68, the district was blossoming. There were, a lot of people moving into the district. And I mean, it was nothing for me to have 45, 50 kids in a PE class.
Wow. But this was maybe 2 separate, well, it's kind of hard to say, of course, in high school, but, and they were all boys.
Yeah, I had boys PE, right.
You never actually had girls, gym, anything?
The only time I had the girls was, we did some co-ed classes, bowling, ice skating, ski and trap shooting,
Ski and trap shooting.
dancing. Yes.
Now that's different. I don't know that they do that anymore, do they?
No. Well, when the high school was located on Rock Road, we were very close to, and our classes were 55 minutes long. We had a bowling alley down the street. We had Winterland ice skating right up the street.
Where was Winterland Ice Rink?
Winterland is with the Midwest Library. That used to be Winterland.
I see.
And then I think they tore down the bowling alley on the Rock Road in St. Anne's.
Oh.
And then the Skeet and Trap off Mill Bottom Road. So we had three areas, venues that we could go to for the kids, and those kind of were our lifetime sports, getting them involved in those kind of things.
Was these part of the school curriculum or like an intramural thing?
No, it was part of the PE program.
Wow, that's interesting.
So we take a couple weeks of bowling, couple weeks of skating, couple weeks skeet and trap shooting. So
Oh, nice.
It was a great experience. But then when they moved out to the new high school on Creve Coeur Mill Road, then distances became not possible. With the length of classes, you couldn't get to the venue and really have much time and get back.
I see what you're saying.
That time, right before we moved, and physical education was the outstanding curriculum, which a lot of, most of the time you can't do anything like that. So it was really great.
How was the Pattonville district when you first started? You said in 1967. Did you get to know the teachers from the high school? I'm sorry. You were in the high school.
In the high school.
Okay. Did you get to know the teachers in the middle school? And were there 2 middle schools as there are now?
Okay, at that time there was they didn't have middle schools. They had at that time we were at the high school, and then then we had kind of a middle school area on campus. Junior high. There was a junior high on campus with the high school. They had a high school building, and they had so you had 10 through 12, and 7 through 9, and so it was really. And then they had a 7th grade center when they were building. Another. They wanted to have separate middle school, so they're building one on Creve Coeur Road, and it was known as the 7th grade center, and they were building it to eventually become the high school. And then after I was there a few years, they got that built. 7th grade moved out there, and then after they got the rest of the building built, then they moved the 7, 8, 9 were in that building. And then they had, of course, Pattonville High. So you had two not middle schools, but junior highs, 7, 8, 9, in both of those buildings. And the building we began with in '67 then was strictly the high school. So when the high school moved in '71, '72, the 7th graders then were incorporated in the Heights and the old Holman campus. So there were two junior highs and a high school. And our high school, like right now, I think their high school, and this is 9 through 12, runs about 1,800 kids. In 1979, and about that time, we had 2,900 just in the top 3 grades, 10 through 12. And now that high school, 9 through 12, has about 1,700 kids. So that shows you the loss of students over the years' time.
And what caused the loss of students?
Well, obviously the airport expansion started the big hit, and then, I think the district turns over, and that happens.
Now, Pattonville High School isn't really Bridgeton as such,
No,
but
Maryland Heights.
but the kids in Bridgeton go there.
Right. Yes.
And you said besides being coach, you were also a teacher?
Yeah, I taught health, physical education, until...
What about driver's ed? Did they have driver's ed?
No, I didn't. Yeah, they had driver's ed, but I did not teach it.
Okay.
And a tough year is a year that, I had great years at Pattonville in the high school. There were a couple of tough years. One is when we moved, when the ninth grade from the middle school, from the junior highs, both ninth grade classes came to the high school, and they stayed 6, 7, 8, and we became 9 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a tough year blending that in. And then next tough year was when the voluntary transfer program began, and now we had minority kids coming in from the city to blend in with the high school. That was really a tough year. We really weren't prepared, for that. I don't know if you could have been, but we weren't prepared for that. And there were some ups and downs, but then as the years went on, it settled down, and I think, came to be a pretty positive program for the kids coming in and the kids in Pattonville.
What do you see as maybe some of your highlights of your Pattonville years? Does anything kind of stand out for you?
Well, and from the teaching aspect, I think we really developed a real sound physical education program. We end up building, we got the district to build us at the time, we on a football stadium, under the stadium, we use that as a weight room and indoor facilities for hitting. We have built a fitness center in the balcony up in the gym. And then eventually what happened, now that's after I left, they built a separate building, activity building for dance, cheerleading and the dance squads, and
I didn't know
for
that.
a weight room. So they have one of the big problems was the dance team and cheerleaders having a place to practice. So they built an activity building, which put them in there. They gave them their space,
Mm-hmm.
and then also there wasn't a great facility, the weight room in the stadium. They moved that in half of the activities room. So that was a big plus, not just for athletics, but for PE. That really helped us in physical education, and we started to go back to incorporate some lifetime sports. We really got into our fitness, weightlifting. We got our weightlifting program going, and we had a little bit more facilities, both indoor and outdoor, where we could do more things with the kids than we did, at the old high school on St. Charles Rock Road.
Mm-hmm. What about your sons? Were they in any particular sports?
Well, yeah, all three of my sons played. Bobby, my oldest, played basketball for me. He was a starting guard for me in basketball. Was, all conference player and did a really nice job. And my middle son Todd, he swam, played basketball, swam, played soccer. And then Brian, my youngest, was a soccer, basketball player. So they all played, all participated.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the highlight for me in 1986, we were fortunate to win the state baseball championship. Which is anytime you win a state, that's very hard to do. And we won a state championship in 86.
That was exciting, I'm sure.
Right, and in 87, we went back again, but we got beat and took fourth the following year. So that was, and in basketball and, oh God, I get the year right here, and 70, I think it was 79, 78, 79, I think, is we went to the Elite Eight in basketball.
Wow.
Law come within one game in the Final Four going to Columbia. So that was another really good highlight. But, down through the years, I enjoy both the classroom and the coaching. The kids are great. And,
Do you feel like you had a lot of parental support?
for the most part, I can't say totally. I mean, I think anytime you're, as a coach, you're in a position when, you're getting squads cut down and you cut kids and some kids don't get to play much, and so you're always receiving some backlash from parents and, why my son or daughter isn't playing, or, why they didn't make the team and things of that nature. But overall, I mean, it's Panville, no different than any place else. It's all, same for the most part.
When did you retire from teaching and coaching?
In 90, get this right, in 89, I took the, Mr. Houston, the athletic director, retired, and they hired me as the assistant principal in charge of athletics and activities. So my role changed from being in the classroom and coaching to being an athletic administrator.
I see.
So for the next, till 99, I was the athletic director and activities director. So that kind of changed what I was doing. And then in 99, I retired.
From Pattonville.
From Pattonville, right.
And you were living in Bridgeton all this time then?
I was living in Bridgeton since 1967.
And where did you say, if you don't mind telling us, where did you live in Bridgeton?
I lived on Whitehall Manor
Okay.
Drive. We lived there that was my first house in 67. And then from there we moved to Harmon Estates. And I lived there 30 years or so. And then we made a decision to, with all our kids gone and, all the yard work and the house, we wanted to downsize, and we went to Autumn View Trail Court, which is a mile from my house driveway to this one was a mile. So
Is that kind of across the street from the library, or very close to the Bridgeton Trails Library?
Well, it's just east of the McKelvey and Old St. Charles. Just east of that is the subdivision. Across from the guy with the turf, Strunk Turf,
Oh, uh-huh.
right across the street.
Oh, okay. So it's,
We've got about 32 units of
oh,
villas,
okay.
32, 33 units of villas.
I think I
Right in there.
understand now. Thank you. I think
Yeah.
it wasn't at first where I thought it
Yeah.
was. So it's off of Old St. Charles.
Right, yeah, just
Okay.
barely, the subdivision falls just barely in Bridgeton, and that was a big factor. I didn't want to leave Bridgeton, and when, we got the architect's plans and everything, I wanted to make sure we were in the boundaries, and we butt right up to the Maryland Heights boundaries, because Autumn View or Autumn Lakes right below us is in Maryland Heights.
That's, I think, what I was thinking of first.
Yeah.
Were you, I can't exactly remember, were you out of Harmon Estates when that tornado hit?
Yes. Just got out in time, I guess. My house I sold to a relative on my wife's side, so they had a tree laying on their roof and they had some damage. Not nearly as bad as I, but because they were a little lower, and that area Beaverton that got wiped out, that's a little bit above. So So I think when a tornado went over, it just kind of caught the top of where I live.
And you didn't have any damage where you presently live then?
No, it was about 200 yards east of where we were. So it just missed us.
Because
We had damage, we had roof damage and stuff like that.
Because I know there was so much, really, almost all the way down Old St. Charles. You
Yeah.
can see the effects, and into Maryland Heights.
Right. So, well, we lucked out, you know. So, Beaverton really, I mean, that's unbelievable how that got wiped out in a tornado.
Did you know a lot of people there?
Yeah, neighbors and, yep.
What was it like? Were you home that night? It was Good Friday, as I recall.
What's ironic is our lights went out, and I told Nancy, I said, Nancy, I told her we need to go down the basement. So we went down, we're going down the basement, and then we got down there, I told my wife, I said, listen, I need to go up back and get the radio. I forgot the radio. So as I go up, get the radio, and I since found this out, which I didn't know, is I was standing at the top of the stairwell before I went down. This is when the tornado went through.
Wow.
So,
Did you hear anything
really,
extraordinary?
to be honest, one in. I was first time I knew of anything that was wrong was I saw red lights outside, and I go, what's going on? You know, I didn't.
You didn't know it was going to be that bad.
I didn't really know.
So what happened then when you came back out of the basement and I guess you went outside,
Yeah, we
curious
went
to see.
outside to find out what was going on, and that's when, you could see all the damage. But we didn't realize it was that bad.
Could you get in and out of your area after that?
Yeah. But of course, the police shut down certain roads and things of that nature. But right in our area, we were okay.
Do you feel like the Bridgeton community really went into action and helped the people?
Oh yeah, I thought that they did an outstanding job. I thought the mayor had great leadership in getting everything. He contacted some other mayors about what they've done in that situation, and got a lot of, he had a lot of experience over the years, and I thought it was an outstanding job getting everything going, and police, fire, staff, workers, they were great.
That's good.
And I was on the city council at that time too.
You were?
Yeah. Yeah, I served 4 years on the city council. And that was during the time that I was representing Ward 2.
I see. I was going to go back a little bit. You mentioned 1967 and the later 60s, and I believe that's when Northwest Plaza really came about. In the 60s.
Well, I think that probably started the impetus at Pattonville School District, financially, and all the tax base of Northwest Plaza was one of the things that I think was the impetus of the district growing and all their building and things of that nature, and that was, really important for them.
Did your boys get any part-time jobs there?
Let's see, my son Bobby never, now Todd worked some he worked at the community center, worked for them.
Was it this present community center where
Yes,
we're
the
at now?
present one, right.
What did he do?
He worked, he did some officiating for their basketball leagues, and he also worked at the front desk, and he did a number of various things, But of the three, he was the only one that really did anything. like that.
What do you think happened with Northwest Plaza? I mean, it has really changed since those years in the 60s. It was very exciting when it was being built.
Yeah, well, I don't know
Like
if you.
like you said, added to the tax base for Pattonville School District.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I don't think there's one thing that caused the problem. I think it's a number of different things, safety issues become a big safety issue. As soon as people didn't feel comfortable going there to shop, that right away, that's causing people, and also at the time, like I said, it wasn't one thing. Now you had Mid-Rivers going up, and you had the Galleria going up, and you had other malls going, and everybody's always they're gonna go to the new thing.
Yes, right.
Right away, and that, that caused probably if you had to pinpoint one thing that stood out was the security issue. That when people didn't feel comfortable going there, that's turning it around. I mean, people are only going to go where they feel safe. And when that become a problem, that's going to kill it. And then, and then people's different change. The malls were the big thing, and all as years went on. If you look around, all the malls are closing. None of them. So I don't. I'm happy to see for St. Anne's that they got Menards going in and kind of changing it, and that'll help. That'll help St. Anne's. Going to help Pattonville.
I see. What do you have much involvement at the community center? We are in the Bridgeton Community Center right now, and we are going to get a new community center built. Maybe have it by the end of this year. What do you think of that?
Well, I was chairperson for the committee for a Better Bridgeton, or Friends of Bridgeton, and I, kind of pushed hard for it.
Then why did you feel that was important?
Well, it's important. I think the one we're in now is just, it's old. It serves its purpose. I think needs of the community have changed. If you really look at, to be honest with you, I mean, people look at it more as a senior center. They don't look at it as a community center. It's a senior center, and that's like you want to have a multi-generation community center that's going to serve the needs of young kids and young families, and as well as seniors. And so I think it was a good time to move forward. Plus the fact that they have problems keeping it heated, keeping it cool, leaks. Infrastructure is not good, and I think all of those things that cost money to keep it repaired. And I know some people would have, especially older people, would have liked just to renovate it. And to me, that I've looked at it as throwing, you're throwing good money at that. You can never get it the way it needed to be, and I think the way the city did by going towards a new one was the right place to go. And
did you feel there was very much opposition, or do you feel it was kind of an easy, push?
Well, as you all know, people, you don't get a lot of people are active. Like in a city, it's same people are on commissions, and if they go from one commission to another commission, and you have a hard time getting people to run for council. And I mean, right now, the mayor, we need a new mayor. I think only one person is. So I think there's an apathy among all, not just Bridgeton, but among all communities. It's that small core of people who care and do all the work. And I mean, that's the biggest thing. Now, as far as opposition, I think biggest thing that was brought out, there's certain people with certain agendas, I'll point out a few. Handball courts. You know, it's nice, we got handball courts, but for the people that work here, they can tell you a lot of people don't use them. And most of the people who use them don't live in Bridgeton, they live in Maryland Heights, St. Anne. So, you know, you have to look at, so when you're, you know, we had people in meetings, we had meetings for, you know, community to come in and express their ideas, and you know, when there's a small group, we have to have handball courts, and then there's a group that we have to have a competitive pool, you know. And, you know, when you look at it, that's not for, you know, different generations, you know what I mean? A nice competitive pool is fine if you're all swimming competitively. What about the 5-6-year-old that wants to just come in and play in the pool? You know, I mean, so the only thing those specific groups, you know, came in and they wanted their thing, and everybody will be happy when it's done. But you can't please everybody, and but I think for the most part it's going to be a real positive thing. My hope, because I see Bridgeton getting older, and my hope is that this could be a rallying point to get all the community involved, all generations, help with people moving into the community. They see what Bridgeton has in terms of, you know, what they offer, you know, the services and everything in the city is unbelievable, but really a lot of people outside don't know about them. So you're hoping this will attract people, you know, which I think it will.
I hope so.
And so I think it's a good thing.
You said you were a councilman.
Right.
Have you served on any of the commissions?
Yes, I'm on Parks and Recreation.
Presently,
Commission.
you're on the parks.
Right. I was also on at one time the there's another commission.
Planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning. I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've just got involved in the city when I retired.
I see.
You know, I would have liked to have been involved before, but with the job I had, that was, you know, couldn't do it.
Well, you know, with your job, especially with the coaching and your games, were a lot of outside of school time, weren't they?
Yes, oh yeah. Yeah, and it was an athletic director, it's even worse.
Why is that?
Because now you're not just the head coach of one team, you're the head coach of the whole program. So, like during the winter, I get to school at 6:30 and have all day school, and then after school sports, and if we got a tournament, I could be there from 6:30 in the morning till 10:30 at night.
Really?
Right.
Did you choose to be there, or was this more or less expected for you to be
Well,
there?
it's more or less, that's your job, you know. You got a Friday night football game, there's not a whole lot of time, things have to be, you got a lower level game at 4, and then you got a varsity, so that's a lot of time. You know, it's, you don't get overtime. You don't get paid overtime, but I enjoyed it.
And that's
if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't have done it.
Right, and that's a secret. You really have to enjoy that.
Right. People need to get a passion. I tell my kids that. Find your passion. Find what you like, what you enjoy doing, and then your job won't be like a job.
A job, right, right.
You know, and I think all my kids found their passion. They're all doing well.
What are they doing now?
Well, my oldest works for Modern Communications. He deals in high-tech editing equipment, monitors, TVs. His big Washington is one of his big accounts. Does a lot of work with them. And my middle son's the only one in education right now. He's a principal in Kirkwood
Oh, really?
at North Glendale Elementary. Doing a good job, just won a blue ribbon
Really?
award, yeah.
That's wonderful.
And my youngest son, he got his degree in art in Lindenwood, but didn't get his teaching certification because he didn't do student teaching, work for, he had a FedEx, had 7 FedEx runs. And he was doing that, and he just sold them, and now he's going back to school. He's gonna do his student teaching in the fall and teach art.
Nice.
So I'll have 2 of them, 2 out of 3.
I see. And do you have grandchildren?
Got 10,
Oh, my goodness.
10
Oh,
grandkids.
oh my goodness.
The youngest is 2 years old and the oldest is 21.
And have they all been involved in some sports or another?
Yeah, they all play. They all play something. I mean, not necessarily good at them all, but they do. My oldest granddaughter, she's 21 and she's a starting goalkeeper at St. Louis U.
Really?
She's on a soccer scholarship there, and she's in nursing school. So I'm kind of proud of her there.
A very busy girl. And have you been able to see a lot of her games?
Oh yeah, I go to all her games, all her home games anyway. Then I've got 2 grandsons that room together down at St. Louis U that are freshmen. One plays hockey, one is a student manager and basketball team. And then I got another grandson at St. Louis U High, and one at DeSmet. And then the other ones are in elementary school. So they're all doing good.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Do you ever bring them over to the community center or the outdoor pool or any of the activities that Bridgeton offers?
Sure. Oh yeah, we bring them over. Yeah. I even have a little golf tournament in August called the BenBen Scramble. We use Berry Hill, and then when we get done, we come over here to the pool and we have a swim party at the pool.
Isn't that fun? Is it
We
just
all
for
enjoy it.
your family?
Yeah.
Well, how much fun. Do the ladies also take
Oh
part?
yeah, sure.
Oh, it sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's good. It's really good. Fun time.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'm really delighted to hear that you were so intent on staying in Bridgeton when you felt you wanted to downsize from your house in Harmon Estates. And I hope that this place suits you for a long time.
Yep, I hope so. We just need to somehow do a better PR job about the city and promote our city. I think Bridgeton, similar to Pattonville, I find that not as respected as they should be. They don't, all you hear in the educational part is Rockwood, Parkway, Pattonville. It's like it's a secret, and I think that's the same way with Bridgeton. You hear about Chesterfield. So it's one point was Bridgeton, and Bridgeton has, they can match the services that any other city has, if not more.
Well, do you think that the bad press we're getting because of this landfill hurts our city?
Yeah, I think it all does, I think the airport expansion hurt. I mean, and now I think surely it all hurts, but you gotta fight it, you know what I mean? You gotta try to fight it and show the area that you're still surviving, you're still strong, you still have the services and the community, and see, one of the reasons Pattonville's grown older is because when you get in, you don't want to leave, and that causes problems in terms of getting young people in there, moving into your community.
Do you run into some of your students when you're just out and about?
Oh, yeah, yeah, there's a number of Bridgeton people that have stayed around, but there's, a number of them that have moved on, So, I mean, you tell they have, they're really interested in Bridgeton. That 4th of July parade, brings tons of ex-Bridgeton people back, so.
Yeah, that's a wonderful event. We have taken part in the parade many times through the Historical Commission. And it is amazing to see all the people that you've known before.
Yeah, I mean, so there has to be some feeling there, or they wouldn't. And so I'm hoping with the opening of the new community center that we have a really good prepared opening, in terms of, giving free hot dogs or soda or popcorn, or, anytime you're giving anything free, people will show up.
Right.
Kids will show up. And I think we need to do a real good job in the grand opening to get everybody to look at it, to see it, say, hey, this is really nice, Because if you think about the percentage of community people that use this building here, 30%,
Maybe.
The
building is used quite a bit, but I just don't know by whom.
Right, well, I don't think, if you look at Bridgeton, there's a lot of, Maryland Heights. Now, when they get theirs, that's gonna say, a lot of Maryland Heights people come over and work out, use the pool, which they don't have their facility, which they're gonna have, which will, So I'm hoping if, we can promote the,
Is there any kind of a committee or group that will specifically
Yeah,
be talking and working for that?
well, I don't know, they've talked about it, and I don't know who would.
I think that's actually a very good idea to maybe have a committee or group to form, early and thinking about ways to promote the open.
Well, I know our parks and the recs, we've talked about our commission, and I'll do my part to promote it, and, to get people in here to see it, I mean, even this building, this is served well and everything, and I walk in here, and it's not being used like it should, Why aren't, some families coming in here, that they're, not school-aged kids yet? Well, one of them probably got nothing to do with it for them. And I think a lot of things that we're incorporating in the new one will help bring in some of the younger families.
Well, that is certainly a good idea to think about the opening and how to make it really an eye-opener for people.
Right, yeah. And I think it'll make it, the most important is making it for the Bridgeton, so they know what they have and they use it and everything. But then at the same time, it needs to be promoted outside of Bridgeton, and to start, so people start realizing, what we have, and this is a good community to be in, and you got a good school district that it's in.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with us today. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I know my 2 children graduated from Pattonville while you were there, and they were in various activities and sports, and so I appreciate all you did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.